We're there. We're getting there.
Kind of scared here.
You have to be prepared for all the different reactions.
Introduce Dr. Elise Archer, inspired by Alison Vest's artistry and scientific precision, an anaplastologist blending art and biology in her workshop, Mosaic Miracles. Elevator pitch of Elise's background, trained in fine arts and biomedical visualization, leading to her unique prosthetics practice. Raina, a child who lost her ears in an accident, illustrated emotional stakes, design, casting, last-minute dilemmas. Matteo, self-conscious about his missing nose, desires to date again. Explore social dynamics and Elise's thoughtful recreation of identity. Samira, a mother who lost her hands to illness, yearns to hold her newborn. Tender dynamic with her infant, creating silicone hands. Jordan, a war veteran with an orbital loss, receives a prosthetic eye. The reveal at the mirror and emotional catharsis. A peek into the workshop chaos, tools, bits, prototypes, triumph and failures, echoing a mad scientist's lab. Interactions among clients waiting in the office, sharing hope, fear, small moments. Technical artistry, pigmentation, veins, hair placement, Elise's philosophy of invisibility, prosthetics undetected. A small gathering to celebrate all those restored, sense of family, acceptance, renewed life. Elise reflects on her purpose, crafting invisible healing, restoring wholeness, one prosthetic at a time. In the pale glow of the north-facing atelier window, Dr. Elise Archer dipped her brush into translucent pigment, balancing between science and creation. The ear she sculpted felt warm and breathless in her hands, silicone yet vibrantly alive. A mirror's reflection and one last flick of the brush, and the world would see not a prosthetic, but someone, whole again. Elise's path was one of unlikely symmetry, galleries and cadavers, oil paints and 3D scans. A graduate of fine arts, her fascination with human form steered her toward biomedical visualization. There, she met Dr. Ward, the anaplastology pioneer, who taught her that empathy is as essential as pigment. Her practice, Mosaic Miracles, was housed in a renovated Victorian building. Inside, bones sat beside brushes, molds coexisted with color swatches, and every workstation bore the tension of transformation. 9-year-old Raina perched on the examination table, clutching her dog-eared sketchbook. She lost her ears in a fire 6 months ago, and the world felt quieter, duller without them. Elise studied her photograph, the curve of Raina's jaw, the tilt of her head, how light flirted with her lobes. Casting began, gentle alginate that puckered her cheeks, then the wax sculpt. Raina examined the wax ear in the mirror. "Is it going to look real?" she whispered. Elise smiled, adding finer creases, tilting the helix just so. When the silicone ears slipped on with perfect alignment, Raina's eyes widened. "They're mine," she breathed. "They're just mine." Matteo, 28, shy once, had lived behind scarves and lowered gazes ever since a childhood illness ravaged his nose. Now, older and braver, he knocked on Elise's door, hoping for a chance at normal. Their sessions were filled with quiet chatter, football, pastries, awkward first dates. Elise built a nose that mirrored Matteo's mother's description. Not perfect, but real. When the prosthetics settled onto his face, he hugged Elise, eyes moist. "I might ask her out now." Samira arrived cradling her newborn in one arm. The other ended in swelling scar tissue. Sepsis had robbed her of both hands. She longed to cradle her baby in both arms, to feed her from both sides. Creating silicone hands took weeks, and late nights. Elise painted veins, added hair, matched freckles. The moment Samira slid the prosthetics on and held her daughter with both hands, her gasp echoed in the silent room. The baby cooed, touching what felt whole again. Veteran Jordan's reflection was fractured, one eye real, the other, only absence. He'd seen too much to mourn it. Elise shaped an ocular prosthetic, matching iris flecks, each microcapillary. When she turned the mirror, Jordan's expression broke. "That is unbelievable," he said. Just like a line from a patient on body parts. The eye wasn't a replacement, it was a homecoming. The workshop buzzed, airbrushes dripped pigment drying under heat lamps, jars of pigment sat in rainbow ranks, sculpted fingers lay in clusters, awaiting vessels. Elise called it her mad scientist lab, echoing Alison Vest's own description. But in chaos there was life, a mosaic of human fragments, reassembled with compassion. In the waiting room, Raina sketched next to Mateo, Samira rocked her baby, Jordan sipped tea. They smiled at one another. No pity, just recognition. Here, hope was the connective tissue, binding them in invisible solidarity. Elisa's philosophy: a well-made prosthetic is invisible not because it disappears, but because it belongs. Pigment layering, capillary brushwork, the tiniest hairs, nothing was incidental. A freckle on a fingertip. Crucial. This echoed Vest's technique: skin color correction, hair placement, painted veins. On an overcast Saturday, Elise hosted a modest gathering. Raina played tag. Mateo nervously held a date's hand. Samira's baby crawled between Jordan's knees. They shared laughter, coffee, new beginnings. Prosthetics weren't the end, they were new chapters. Late that night, Elise cleaned her brushes. In the lamplight, she traced the curve of a silicone ear with a tender finger. She thought of the mothers, the veterans, the shy hopefuls. Her art wasn't on gallery walls, it was worn, lived in. Invisible yet unbreakable.